In Visio, you can see towards the top of the screen that you have a horizontal ruler. You also have a vertical ruler. Now, if you're unable to see your ruler, you may have to click the View tab in the ribbon and actually turn on the ruler. Mine's turned on at the moment, but if I was to untick the ruler command in the show group, I'd lose my rulers. And when I click again on ruler, I bring my rulers back. Now what you can do is you can also control the 0 position on your ruler. I can see the 0 position on my horizontal ruler showing here, and I can see the 0 position of my vertical ruler showing towards the bottom left of my page. What you can do is hold the control key and you can drag the ruler and change the 0 position. Now the 0 position is halfway down my page. If I then hold the control key and drag the vertical ruler, instead of 14, I now see 0 at the middle of my page. So you can control the 0 position on the ruler should you desire. If you want to set the rulers back to as they were or control anything else regarding the rulers, then from the View tab in the ribbon, click the Show dialog box launcher. When I click so, I can see that my horizontal and my vertical rulers have their 0 positions moved from 0 millimeters to 14 and 11 centimeters. So I might change these back to 0. 0 here and 0 here. When I go OK, I'll find that the rulers will resume the 0 position they initially had. And here's my 0 back here and my 0 back here. If I go back into the View tab and into the Show group and click the Show dialog box launcher, I can also control whether I have a fine setting on my horizontal ruler and a fine setting on my vertical ruler, or a different setting. Let's change fine to normal and this fine to normal. And when I go OK, look at the difference in the rulers. See how they're different? Now I'm going to go back to the Show dialog box launcher and set them back to fine. And you can see the difference again in the rulers. So you can control your rulers by hitting the Show dialog box launcher, and you can also show or hide your ruler by ticking and unticking this particular option. Now, in addition to the ruler, we also have on our screen what they call a grid, and that's these wee boxes you can see, much like mass paper. Now, the fact that I can see the grid is because on the View tab in the Show group, I have grid ticked. If I was to untick this option, the grid disappears, and if I retick it, the grid reappears. Now, just like the ruler can be customized, so too can the grid. So I'm going to click again the Show dialog box launcher in the View tab of the ribbon. What I have here is I have grid spacing of fine for vertical and for horizontal. What I might do is I might change this to coarse. And let's go OK and have a look at what this does to our grid. Notice how big the squares have become? If I go back to the Show dialog box launcher, I might change it to normal. And OK, and look at the grid. The squares are still big, but slightly smaller than they were before. And let's go and change it again. Go to the Show dialog box launcher and set the grid back to fine and fine. So you can control your grid in the same way as you can control your ruler. Now, guides. Guides help you line things up. I don't have any guides at the moment, so I'm going to create some. To create a guide, I'm just going to drag my mouse off the vertical ruler, and what I'm creating is a guide, and drop it about there, and I've created one guide. Let's drag the vertical ruler again, and we effectively create another guide. If I drag from my horizontal ruler, I've made another guide, and drag again. You can make as many guides as you like for lining things along and lining things up to. The fact that I can see these guides is because guides is ticked in the Show group of the View tab in the ribbon. If I untick guides, they hide and if I retick guides, they show. Guides, just like grid lines, don't print. They just help you line things up. To get rid of my guides, I'm going to click on one of them and press the delete key on my keyboard, and ultimately delete all the guides on my page.